Hey, now that you clicked on this video, I guess you're interested in how to learn something fast. That's why you're here, right? Well, you are in the right place, sort of. You see, people always try to find, tricks, hacks, or different kind of things, how to do anything faster in life. And this is because we as humans are programmed to always find the easy road and, skip the difficulties. But the reality is that learning anything is actually not easy, and it takes a lot of hard work over a consistent period of time. But the thing is, it's not impossible. There are ways on how you can learn things faster. Like learning anything just takes, willpower, consistency, and discipline. Taking small steps every single day will eventually compound on each other and help you have a big understanding around the topic that you're trying to learn in the long term. But I guess you want to know how to learn something fast, right? So that's why in today's video, we're going to talk about a method on how you can actually learn something fast. And this method is divided into 4 steps to help you learn anything faster or better. So let's just dive right into it. So if I ask you, what is the first letter in the word fast? I guess you know, right? It's F. And that's the first pillar of our method, F. And the F stands for forget. Whenever you try to learn something new, fast, you want to first forget everything you already learned about a certain topic. I know it might sound counterproductive to forget, right? But sometimes the things you do not expect that will work are actually the one that will work the best for you. By forgetting, I mean forgetting all the previous knowledge you learned about a certain topic so you can start from a fresh start and you can really go into this with a beginner's mind. You see, most people, whenever they start to learn something, they already come in, with perceived ideas, with opinions, with different thoughts, and it kind of makes it counterproductive to learn something because you have all of these different things that you already know. And when you learn something, you feel like, hey, I already know this, or I don't need to know this. You don't come with a beginner's mind. But actually doing this gets you in a position of starting to learn something without having biased opinions about it. You start looking at different kind of things as a complete newbie. And because of this, you will see things that you normally would have missed. And with that also, you will have this new, enthusiastic beginner's mind. Whenever you try to learn something, you're super excited about it, and you will regain that excitement and really become present, soak in all the knowledge that you see in front of you. But the other things you have to forget are your limiting beliefs. Most people come into the world believing that they're not able to do all the things they actually want to do. They have these limiting beliefs inside them. We often believe that there's only a few that are capable of extraordinary things and really becoming a master at things. But that's honestly not true. Every single one of you, people, all the people in the world are able to do amazing things. The problem is that we have those limiting beliefs in our brain, and these are actually the things that are holding us back from reaching the potential that we actually are meant to have. And we need to set ourselves free from these limiting beliefs, and we need to start believing in ourselves and regaining the confidence, really believing in our capabilities to achieve these great things. So from now on, I want you to change those limiting beliefs, and I want yourself to believe that you're able to achieve these great things and that you're able to learn all these different kind of things, no matter where you're from, no matter how old you are or how young you are, you're able to do these. Forget those limitations and start focusing on a positive future, on a future where you can actually learn all of the skills that you want to learn. So that's the first pillar, forget. And that brings us to the second pillar, which is the second letter of the word fast. And the A from fast stands for active. Many of us have a tendency whenever we start learning something new that we start learning it passively. We look for information online, take a course or just go to classes and just sit there and, listen to it, but not really participating in whatever is going on. It is important to listen, yes, of course, but to really learn something fast, you have to actively participate in whatever you're learning. You have to start becoming more active in the learning process. And one way of doing this, super simple way that everybody knows, it's actually just taking notes. This advice is given by so many different people in the educational industry, right? But it actually works, but not a lot of people do take notes. A lot of people neglect the power of taking notes. Take a couple of notes here and there, but then they start getting bored and they're like, why am I just taking it? It feels like I'm learning, right? We think we can remember everything we have learned, but actually, when you just listen to something, you don't retain as much. You might retain that in the next couple of, hours or the next couple of days, but slowly that starts to trickle away and your brain starts forgetting whatever it has learned. And the truth is that we actually forget about 80% of the information after 48 hours, especially if you just listen to it. And taking notes gives you more control over the things you can remember and really helps you internalize whatever you're learning, because first, you heard it, you listened to it, then you internalize it in your brain, you kind of thought about it, and then you took some notes on a piece of paper or in a Google document in your own words. So you actually triple down the whole thing, whatever you learned. Just the simple act of, writing the information down triggers something in your brain to, create those neurons, kind of strengthen those neurons, and helps you, remember all the information that you're learning faster and better. And the other thing that you can do to actively participate in learning is asking questions. Just listening and taking notes might not always be enough to really actively participate and learn everything you need to learn. And asking questions will make sure that you're really actively listening and really actively participating in it. The same with taking notes. Whenever you ask questions, there's something gonna light up in your brain, making different kind of connections with whatever you're learning by, you asking a question that is, just for you, that is just you wanted to know about it. Because you ask the questions, there's a stronger emotion attached to that. So the next time you're trying to learn something and you're not 100% sure about whatever you're learning, make sure to ask, the questions to whoever is teaching it, to the mentor or to the teacher, and just to kind of solidify that thing in your brain. Even though if you know the information, just ask the question anyway, because it's gonna help you in the long run. All right, then our next step in the FAST method is the S, and the S stands for state. Learning is not just about being physically present to somewhere and kind of listening to someone or reading something. Learning is actually an experience that your body and your brain is, actively seeking. And the key to learning something fast is having your emotions in a positive state, because emotion and memory actually work together. Whenever you feel good, whenever you have a good experience, you actually remember that better. Your emotions, play a critical role in your learning. You probably do remember all the things that had an emotional impact on you in your life. So if I would ask you right now to think back to your life and think to a moment where you were sad, when somebody, hurt you or something bad happened, really try to think about that moment. Can you think of something? You probably are. Every one of us has one of those moments where we were sad, right? And if we think about, that moment, you probably have a picture right now in your brain that kind of brings it back. And what if I ask you to think about a moment where you were super happy in life, where something amazing happened and you were truly just enjoying life? Can you think about like something that happened? I think you can. You probably can. We all have right now something in our brain where we're like, oh man, that was really an amazing moment. And this is because our emotions are attached to our memory. But can you remember the exact subject that you were learning in math on a Tuesday when you were like in 8th grade? Probably not, because you were probably bored in the class and you didn't really feel good, and you didn't want to remember that whole thing, because boredom is actually not an exciting emotion. So whenever you learn something, remember that emotions, equal memory. And if you are in a good state, if you are in a positive state, if you bring yourself in a positive state, you can learn more, you can remember more of what's going on. And the other thing when we talk about states, it's literally changing our physiology. When we're learning, we get into the habit of sitting in front of our desk too much and being like in a very bad shape all the time and just not feeling that good. We don't allow our bodies to really get the blood flowing really easily, and we don't get any movements in, and we start getting that kind of foggy in our brain. And there are thousands of studies focusing on how movement can actually help us, increase our brain capacity and the way it works. And most people actually move way less than most doctors recommend us to do. And I'm not telling you to really pump that iron every single day, 7 days a week, just crush it in the gym. But even some short exercise every single day can have a huge impact on your life, your energy, and your well-being. And really the simplest thing you can do if you're sitting too much on that desk and you can't focus is to really just put a timer on your phone, on your watch, or something else for every like 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes to go off. And for you, literally, the only thing you have to do is to stand up and really get that blood flowing. Do a small exercise like, 5 push-ups, 5 burpees, maybe a couple of squats, just to really get the body moving. I recommend jumping like a rabbit around your home. You can thank me later. And with all of these short movements, if between your work and your learning, you actually help your brain focus more and you get re-energized to even keep going. And this brings us to the last part of the fast learning method, and it's the T, which stands for teaching. And this is something that's actually forgotten by a lot of people, but it's actually one of the most powerful ways to learn something. Teaching someone else the topic that you're trying to learn will fire up different kind of neurons in your brain and will help you solidify whatever you're learning, because you are explaining it in your own words. So your brain is trying to make different kind of connections with whatever you're teaching. It helps your brain to really think differently about the topic you're learning, not just the way what you learned of the textbook or the course, but how did you interpret that? And also repetition actually enhances learning, because you learned it once and now you're gonna give it to someone else. So that literally means that you were learning that twice. So the next time you're about to learn something new, really come in with that intention of like, hey, I want to teach this to someone else. And if possible, really teach it to the people you know, like your family, your friends, spouse, or maybe just your colleagues. Try to teach whatever you're learning in normal words so they can really understand it, and so you can get a better perspective of whatever you're teaching. And if you don't have many friends just like me, you can also just get a rubber duck. No, seriously, like a rubber duck. really talk to a rubber duck. That was something what I was doing when I was learning web development. I was spent hours and hours and hours learning different kind of codes, different kind of languages, but I had to teach it to someone and not everybody wanted to listen. So what I did is I got one of those, yellow rubber ducks, and I put it on my desk. And every time when I learn something, new and something really, complex, I tried to just explain it to this rubber duck, and it helped me, solidify whatever I was learning. I actually guess that duck is pretty smart right now. Gotta catch up on him. But the point is, whenever you're learning something new, try to really teach it to someone else, because it's gonna, first of all, maybe help them out. Maybe they can learn something new every once in a while, but also gonna help you solidify whatever you're learning and create those brain connections. So this was the fast learning method, and if you really put those 4 core principles into your life, you're gonna eventually, learn better and learn faster. Like, you just have to be conscious of these 4 steps whenever you're trying to learn something new. And also really think about, what is the step that you have been neglecting when you're learning? Are you actually forgetting the stuff beforehand before you start learning? Are you actually actively participating in whatever you're trying to do? Are you changing your state, your emotional state and your physical state? And are you trying to teach it to someone else, really giving someone else, the value that you bring to really enhance it in your brain? So look at one area that you're neglecting and try to, put more emphasis on that, try to boost it and see how it enhances your learning. Thank you guys for watching this video. Definitely make sure you drop a comment, drop a like, and I see you guys next time.